I wondered what you must have been thinking, because the rationale for Afghanistan has changed much over the years, and you hear about, well, it's about democracy, then it's about girls in schools, then there's this ever-shifting rationale, and it never came from military leaders, it came from politicians.
As it should.
Right, but when you have to be there and then, you know, download this to the troops, and you have to carry the mission forward, what did you think about the way the government handled the selling of this war? And it's been a couple governments.
Well, very difficult to articulate, first of all, and very difficult to articulate eloquently and consistently and coherently over 4 or 5 or 6 years. And truthfully, it wasn't done that way. As you say, it was all over the place, and we had various reasons. As Chief of Defense Staff, and I don't speak for the present Chief, but I believe he would have a similar opinion, it was never a challenge to talk to our troops, sailors, soldiers, airmen and airwomen, and say, look, here's our mission, here's what the government of Canada is asking us to do, and here's how we are going to go and do this. And I got to tell you, somebody said to me a little while ago, you know, there are 2 kinds of soldiers in Canada's Army right now, those in Afghanistan and those who want to be in Afghanistan because they believe in the mission. They got it. They understood what we're doing there, in part because they see it with their very eyes. They see the devastation and the heavy yoke and burden that the Taliban are, and they see the danger that could come from that if that again becomes a fertile garden, a petri dish, if you will, for the breeding of terrorists.
Tell me about the decisions you have to make. You know, because when you stepped in, you had to help essentially rebuild the Army's image, and you did a great job. I mean, there's a feeling of support around the Army, the military in general, that we haven't had in this country in a long time. But at the same time, you had a war, and I wondered this in the context of you choosing Kandahar. You know, which a lot of people say that we put Canadian troops. The perception is we're doing a lot of the heavy lifting and taking a lot of the heavy toll in Kandahar. That decision, tell me about that.
Well, I think it was a decision of the government of Canada. It wasn't a decision of Rick Hillier, but I will say I fully supported it. Kandahar was where the heavy lifting needed to be done. And, hey, we are a G8 nation, like I say, founding member of NATO. We are one of the very few nations that can do the spectrum of operations from peacekeeping right through to full-up combat operations, and that's what we needed down there, and Canada was the right nation to go in and do it. You know, a lot of people said, well, Canada is doing more than its fair share, et cetera. And I said, you know, hey, we are that G8 nation. We are the best country in the world and the richest country in the world in a lot of ways. And really what we're doing is just stepping up and doing what we should be doing as a G8 nation was my view. And I was proud to be a part of that.